Welcome to Living Chassidus. Together, let's live the Chassidus we learn.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Chassidus in the morning. 15 minutes to change your life. Kunches Inyanah, Shel, Toras, haChassidus, on the essence of Chassidus. Again, this shir is for Shalema, Chaim Baruch Eliezer Ben Reza Esther. Okay, so let's continue where we're holding. So basically, we were discussing. So just a quick summary that now we asked, what is Chassidus? And we gave a few answers. You know that it's to transform you. That it come from the Vashato came when the Jewish world was in a state of faintness. The Chassid goes above the letter of the law. All these different nice, good ideas. And so essentially in base, we said that is not what Chassidus is. That's an outcome of Chassidus is. Chassidus is the quintessential point. It's the essence. And from that essence, these things come. Then we said, yesterday we said, Torah is this. The difference is, and sort of what we're going to talk about today, is Torah is also the end, quintessential point of everything. And that's why we said, like the story of the Friedrich Rebbe, that everyone was discussing the milas of different type of governmental systems. And everyone was bringing proof from the Torah. And the Friedrich Rebbe said, everyone has a point, because the truth that they have is coming from Torah, and that's Torah is true. And all the truth that we find in the world is from Torah. And also we said something that was an example of the way it is, because everything's divided into like intellect and emotions. So on the emotional level, that's what, like how to behave, behavioral type things. And we also said intellectually, Torah Chachmas Yesa, that is the highest intellectual idea. Because it's the will and wisdom in amongst the people. So that's why we say the Torah. Yeah, and that's Torah. But the difference is, and this is sort of what we're going to talk about today, is that Chassidus brings that quintessential point out more than other aspects of Torah. But other aspects of Torah, they really sort of focus on certain parts of it, like the pshat, the Rambam's Drush inside, all these different ways of explaining it. They're talking about specific things, whereas the Torah, whereas Chassidus is sort of the depth of it, and really clearly brings out this point. And then, we'll give another example of this in terms of Mashiach. Okay, bottom of page 31 in this sefer. Achein bat ashikol chelkei Torah. Even though all parts of Torah, the essential, the Nakuda ha'atzmis, their essential point is that they are united with the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, with God's infinite light or infinity. Nevertheless, Ikar Nakuda Zu, this point mainly mispate between Chassidus is mainly brought out with Chassidus. Like explained in the Maimer that was said before, is that Chassidus alone is the one that draws down from the Ein Sof, that's in the level of Radla. Kikal Chelkei Torah. Bechinos ha'Ein Sof shebehem, but all parts of Torah, the level of the infinity of it. Meaning the godliness of it. Shebehei mislabish, that's where they're being included. Hu be'ez tzir, it's in a specific form. Tzir hamagdir, that limits mavate and like sort of expresses gitarais mahus the essence of this part of the Torah. But tzir zeh shel chelek Torah zeh, in this form of this part of the Torah, whether it's a pshat, the remes, the drush, or the side, whichever level it is. Mailim hu al pshitus ha'Ein Sof hamelubash b'ay. It conceals on the simplicity of the Ein Sof that's included within it. Meaning all parts of Torah are essentially Ein Sof, but when you express it, it gets expressed in a specific manner, and that sort of conceals the Ein Sofness of it. It's like what we said before, saying Chassidus is that you burn your nails. That's covering over the essence of what Chassidus is. Helem de lavush kaviyachul yevshar lachlifay. It's like the concealment of a garment that you can't change. I mean, you have clothing that you can change, but you have garments sort of like your skin that you can't change. And meaning, so to speak, these levels, of course, they're essentially talking about Ein Sof, but the way they express is in a specific way with a specific garment, with like skin that it can't be changed. So they can't express in a revealed way this infinity of Torah, this oneness with Hashem. But unlike Chassidus, Chassidus is not limited to a specific form, Vatziyurim, and the so to speak forms, Inyanah, Chassidus, Mizgale al Yadam, which Chassidus reveals, Kalavush, Tachalifim, Yachalifu. It's like the garment that can be changed, like wearing clothes. Shilochein, Kailelas is called Halakim Sharim Jushusay, and that's what Chassidus has within it, it includes within it all the 4 levels of interpretation. Shabbatera. Umachaya is something that gives life to them, as we're going to explain later in discussing Moed Ani. Ein Hatzir Mailim Behelem Amiti. So this concealment that Chassidus brings, like the clothing, it's not a true concealment. Hamitis Amiti es Pshitus Ein Sof Shabai. Chassidus, even when it gets revealed into specific levels, it doesn't take away, as we're going to explain with the Moed Ani, in its ultimate simplicity, meaning the quintessentialness, the oneness that it has with the Ein Sof, with God. So what we're saying is that every other level, even though essentially it's Ein Sof, essentially it's one with God, but when it gets expressed in this world, it gets limited by that way that expresses it, and it's sort of stuck, just like your skin. You can't just remove your skin. They are like stuck to that type of interpretation, so it conceals over the oneness with God. Whereas Chassidus doesn't. Chassidus is like wearing garments that you can change them, take off your clothes and switch them. So Chassidus doesn't have that issue. So now let's understand this example, and really the Rebbe is trying to, it's like a beautiful thing. He's trying to like explain to us this concept really well. And he's going to explain to us an example of Mashiach. And all this that we've been explaining is really still building up this good, strong foundation to then be able to apply it to one example of Moed Ani. And he's going to show you all these things that we're talking about now. He's going to show it to you in the Moed Ani. And then our job is to take that and realize it in everything else, and sort of spend the time to really think about and understand it, how we can do that with everything. Let's see, Daled. So Ubeyu Mahusa, Shotais Chassidus, Yuvhar al Yedei Beyu Teuchne Apnish Mashiach. So to understand the essence of the Toras of Chassidus, we can make it very clear, very, very nice, by understanding the idea of the Pnimius of Mashiach. Ki mischar shel mitzvah, because like it's saying, the reward, like it's known in the saying, the reward of the mitzvah, we know the essence of it. And through spreading out Chassidus. haChassidus, Asemar, will come a master, Mashiach will come, Damalka, Mashiach. Hare, Inyanah shel Mashiach. So therefore, being that the reward for learning Chassidus and internalizing Chassidus and applying Chassidus is that you're going to bring Mashiach. Mashiach's going to come. And that's the reward. So through understanding the reward, we can understand the Chassidus. Hare, Inyanah shel Mashiach, schara neidas mehusa. From knowing the reward, Mashiach will understand the essence of what we're talking about here. What's Chassidus? Mashiach, when it comes to, in regards to Mashiach's coming, there'll be a lot of different things happen, a lot of holy, high level, lofty things. For example, Gulas Yisrael, Vashchina Me'agalus, being redeemed from Galus, us and the Shchina, and God's presence. L'mayim is there, and on a higher level, Yiyu Yisrael Chacham Gedolim, would be very wise. V'yodim Devarim Hastumim, will understand things that are at the moment concealed. V'yasigu Das Barim, and we'll be able to understand the knowledge of our Creator. The world will be filled with knowledge of God. And L'mayim is that even higher than this, Shinui v'chidush v'ma'is reishis, there'll be total transformation and creation of the world, the way the world acts, the way the world is. So that's different levels of what happens when Mashiach comes. We'll be smarter, there'll be more knowledge, the world will be transformed. These are some ideas. Now there's a bracket over here. We'll read it. I just feel like you can just skip it, but we'll read it anyway. And this that it says there's no real difference between when Mashiach comes, besides who's going to be king. That's only the beginning of Mashiach. This is what it says in Rabbi Mehemna. This is really talking about the simple people. So he's saying, even though it does say in a certain place that nothing's going to really change, but he's saying it's not really true. That's only for the beginning parts, but afterwards it's going to change. So don't get caught up in that. So essentially, when Mashiach comes, there's going to be a lot of changes, a lot of good positive changes, deeper and deeper and deeper. Godliness that is higher than nature will be revealed in this place. We will read Hashem's name the way it's written. That a lot of times there's words, it's called Kriyin Ksiv. It's written a certain way, but we don't read in that way. But when Mashiach comes, we have to read everything because that is something that's hidden at the moment and we can't really read it properly. But when Mashiach comes, everything will be revealed and we have to read it properly. So the whole world will be this whole level of revelation. Because the whole world will be revealed a level of Hashem, of Avayeh, which is as God is revealed above creation. But that will be revealed in creation. At the moment, what we get is a revelation of Elikim, how God manifests himself in nature. So it's very concealed. When Mashiach comes, it's going to be all revealed. This level of past, present, future as one. Which is higher than time and place. But Dugmas, Hagilish, Beis Mikdash is like at the time of Beis Mikdash was revelation of godliness. That's what's going to be in the whole world. But V'teichen Inyanim Elu Yischadesh Loirak Ba'el Mazer El B'cholim. And this will happen not just in our physical world, but in all the spiritual worlds. Ki Hanhagas Ba'elam El Yenim, because what happens in the highest spiritual worlds, Hu Kefi Seder Hanhaga Ba'el Mazer. It's dependent and it's affected by what we do down here. So what you do makes an infinite difference. It makes a difference not just in our physical world, which has a butterfly effect, which really permeates everything you do. It affects the whole world, but even more, it affects also the spiritual worlds. The simple example the Rebbe gives is like Rosh Chodesh, in the festivals, which on Rosh Chodesh and on Yom Tov, there's additional light. Now, back in the day, how did we decide if it's Rosh Chodesh? It was people went to the base and they said, "Hey, I saw the moon. It's Rosh Chodesh," and they test and ask some questions, and they say, "Yeah, fine, you're right. So today's Rosh Chodesh." And some years, let's say you would have two Adars because it was a leap year. That was decided back in the day from a person. And what happens when you have that? So you have a Purim, you have a Pesach on a different day, and you have a Shavuos on a different day, and all these days that have changed because of what we've said. That additional that comes on those days is based off what we've done, which is showing us very clearly that what we do has an effect. Since all the details in the whole world will be transformed when Mashiach comes, this will also be in the high world. Now, but after everything we said, all these differences that happen when Mashiach comes, is that what Mashiach essentially is? Or is that an expression of what Mashiach is? Even they're so great and we can transform things and we're affecting the higher world and we're bringing down Gilui L'kus on such a high level we've never experienced before. Nevertheless, that's not what Mashiach is. That's coming out of what Mashiach is. They're just ramifications of an essential point of what Mashiach is. I would love to go further, but I think we should stop here and start off tomorrow at Hay. So again, what we're showing here, what we've seen a few times, and we're seeing this again, that essentially there's the effect of something, and then there's the essence of what that thing is. Just like for ourselves, you wouldn't say, I am my toenails, I am my foot, I am. And the expression of that is in my toenails, in my foot, and in my hands, in my body, and all the things. You don't say, I am my intellect, I am my emotions. That's an expression of who I am. So to what we're saying here, that Mashiach, like in regards to the case of Mashiach, that Mashiach is not Gilui L'kus, Mashiach is not Shem Havai being revealed himself in this world like it wasn't based on Mikdash. That's an act of Mashiach is. Mashiach is not that we become wise. It's like the little kids when they tell you Mashiach comes, you're gonna have all whatever you want. So Mashiach is not that I can eat as much chocolate as I want. That does happen, and all those things are true, and they're very high and lofty levels, and would appreciate it, would be amazing. That's not what Mashiach is. That's an act of what Mashiach is. And tomorrow we're going to explain what Mashiach essentially is, and we're getting closer to being able to appreciate what this essentially is, and through understanding what Mashiach essentially is, we'll understand what haChassidus really is. And to understand what haChassidus really is, we can understand how to learn, how to realize what haChassidus is in our learning. Because what we're really showing here is that haChassidus is not another pirush on Torah, it's not another explanation of Torah. So this is the essence of what Torah is. And therefore, when you learn haChassidus, you should be able to apply that idea into every aspect of Torah. It's a beautiful idea, very, very deep, very profound, fundamental idea. To be continued tomorrow.